Hey everyone, it's Carl, Track 13 News. I just wanted to go over this speed run car that I built. It's taken me about 7 months, and it's taken me that long because essentially everything on this car has had to be modified, prefabbed, custom made. It is actually a 16th scale Carnegie mini rally extreme. This is actually a pan body. It's a Parma 2009 high downforce pan body, which should have been trimmed about right here, but I needed it for the height, so I left it untrimmed, so it's a little bit ribbed here. I left the top of the fins without paint, as well as some headlights here, also right there. Maybe I'll plug it in for you. Okay, so I've got that lit up. Maybe I'll turn this light off. So like I said, it's taken me a long time to get this put together. So not only, so I added some Lexan, fins, I guess. Which are glued on the side. If you notice, I've used magnetic body mounts to mount this body on here. To get that off, I just kind of push a little bit there. As you can see, I've got quite a few LEDs in here. Got the magnets. I've got a couple pieces of carbon fiber rod in here. This is filled with epoxy to smooth out the inside edge for the wind to roll off easy from the inside, as well as fill these gaps here so that it's fairly smooth. I also have reinforced with a 3mm Lexan piece. Actually, it's probably 1.5mm Lexan piece, and which I preheated and curved because unfortunately this body's 170mm and these wheels are about 180, so I've got 5mm on each side about sticking out. But if you notice, I've got these to hold a little kick out, and also it tucks right behind the wheel and then kicks out slightly before the wheels on each side. Now, one of the other things about this, what I've jammed in here, and I'll go over that in a minute, is, from this EEC and fan, I've literally got a couple millimeters clearance. So this actually has a 1mm by about 5 hole, which has a tube that just kicks it past this to right where that fan goes. And, you know, that's just kind of a theory of mine, that it won't create too much drag and will give me enough air. Now I'm hoping this thing will go 100 plus. I mean, 120, 130 would be awesome. How am I going to do that? Well, take this off. I've got this Mamba X. It'll do 6S, which I am running this. This is measures a 205 on the wheelbase, so it's a 12 scale, essentially. I've got a TP motor in here, and so let's go through what's in here. So here's the magnetic body mounts. These are really like 3 different sets put together to really, I don't know, make it work. I mean, I basically had to customize everything to get things to fit here. The chassis, you know, this bumper plate, I cut this out, this bumper, foam bumper. The shocks are upgrade aluminum shocks, but really the car is essentially that Turnigi Mini Rally Extreme. I added these aluminum standoffs here. They have, the holes are the same, but essentially I added something just a little more rigid here. So I've got, I'm running Futaba receiver. I've got a D-Box 2 HPI gyro. This new Mamba X with data logging from Castle. I'm really excited about that. That is a great ESC, and we'll see how it'll handle the 6S. I'm planning on maybe pulling about 85 amps. So this will do 120, so it should be just fine. I've got 4mm Castle connections. Got a little voltmeter here, just a $3 Chinese special or buck Chinese special. I've got 4 1000 microfarad 50 volt capacitors in here, which I use posi tap connectors, so it just taps right into the ESC leads. I've also got the Castle telemetry unit for my Futaba 4PX. I'm running a Savox. This is a mini servo. It's got about 100 and I think about 120 grams of torque. This is run at 7.4, 7.4, 7.4, 7.4 volts. Wild turbo fans are running at 8.4. I've also got a Wild turbo fan in here to replace the Castle. I love the Castle product, but I just really wanted more airflow. This TP motor, I've got some thermal paste under here and a couple of heat sinks. I don't know if you can see them. They're under there. This is running Mod 1 gearing. It's got a custom carbon fiber plate. I used a big bore low C mini T mount with half of a and I say half, I cut it in half so it would fit a regular mini T mount, and put it mounted that on that carbon fiber plate. So I've got this carbon fiber plate now to get that Mod 1 gearing, and it is solid. It is solid. This came with a slipper clutch. It no longer has a slipper clutch. It just has a straight pinion. So I'm essentially running two Mod 1 pinions, one as a spur and one as a pinion. What else can I tell you about this? We got, some contact foams. Oh, the differentials in here. It comes with essentially open diffs. They're not sealed. So the Turnigee, which is Hobby King, Basher, which is the different vehicle, has sealed diffs. So it took me about 4 times ordering from Hobby King to get all the parts, because really, you think other hobby companies are bad about what parts go with what, and sometimes they'll have a spec measurement or something. Hobby King has nothing like that. So part of the reason it took me so long is I just had to order, wait a few weeks, reorder, wait a few weeks. But I did get those sealed diffs in there. I did add just an aluminum piece here to stiffen up this front and to fill the gap in the front of that body. Fits pretty snug now. I did add some weights here to get some balance. I used a 4-corner weight system and got this pretty dialed in. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do that again. So I had a couple cheap servos in here, but for some reason, just how tight this is and the angle with the steering, it actually has some tension in here. I couldn't figure out how to fix the tension. So after burning up a couple servos, I just went with this high volt mini Savox that puts out 120 grams of power, of torque. So when you can't fix the stick, overpower it and call it good, I guess. I've got a 10 amp Castle BEC in here as well, to run these 3 fans at 8.4 volts. So off the ESC, I've got everything running 7.4 up here, transmitter, or the receiver, the gyro, and the telemetry, and this servo. But I have these run separate off this BEC. However, it's all going to tap into 6S Thunder Power battery, and really hoping this thing can really go fast, but we'll see. One of the ways that I was able to fit all this in is this chassis brace right here. I 3D printed maybe 15 prototypes to get this to work. It's got a little angle here that fits this receiver pretty well. It actually has a spot directly for that. This is Kyosho vibration gel in the 4 corners here. So technically that gyro is floating. It's not even technically touching the mount. Little spot for the telemetry with the wires. Actually has part of this chassis has little brackets for these fans. Has slots for these capacitors, and then perfectly spaced for this Maba X. This was designed for these parts in this vehicle. Took me quite a few reprints, and this is printed with PETG carbon fiber filament. What else can I tell you about this? Got a little spot for the GPS. I did corner weight balance this without the GPS, so I will be rebalancing that, especially with the new servo. So I really wanted to show this before I wreck it. But I do have to give a special thanks to Castle. They are all about power, overpowering. They sent me this ESC to see what it can do in this crazy build of mine. And so thanks very much, Castle. Thunder Power, love their batteries. Thunder Power is a great company. I've had some minor issues with batteries. They've taken care of it. I even left the set plugged in. Got a good discount just to replace them. I mean, it was my fault. I left it plugged in after working on this late night. So I did all the paint myself. It's not perfect, but the second body I painted, so I actually am fairly pleased. This body is stiff as a board. There's no flex. As far as this goes, there's no flex. So if I get this tuned right, it should run true and straight, I hope. So thanks for watching. I hope this was informative, at least interesting with what I've done here in this custom build. I am running Success, TP motor, Castle ESC, Thunder Power batteries, Castle Futaba. Thanks.